Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage, and today we're going to be having a look at Bitcoin. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. Primarily, what we're looking for is further evidence that we are looking for, a wave two to come in here. Looking for this potential to come down towards this 1-to-1 area primarily, and then also looking for the potential that if this does extend, we could still find support between these two zones, which would be this 25,964 to this 21,567 area. So this would be an area I'm looking for if we're going to have a deeper retracement here. And, we do have the potential of finding support on this bottom channel line here. Would also be interested if we break down one more time here to see whether we actually have an interaction again on this bottom channel that we are currently in, like this. So now this is the two things that I'm looking for here. Potentially we could look to break down to this 1-to-1, or we could actually look to come down deeper. Now, if we start to lose 21,567 rather, we would have to start reevaluating that potential of a deeper structure here that could actually look to take out lows, but we could potentially still find some support area down. Now, if we are looking at this in the alternate way, what we could actually have here is a 1 and a 2, where this becomes wave 1, all of this becomes wave 2 as a flat, and then we're actually looking to progress up from this point here. Now, the problem I have with this is the current structure isn't great, but we'll discuss what needs to happen for that to actually play out within these moves. Okay. So now we do seem to have had a 5-wave structure to the downside. Now the problem is just the last leg of this internals here is a little bit overlapping. So I'm on the lookout. We could get something like this where we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, something like a diagonal in here. So this is what I'm just keeping an eye out here until we actually break these highs here, which are sitting at this zone of this 28,713 area. So until we actually break back above that, we need to just be careful that this isn't either starting to extend out here or potentially we are still within a fifth wave here and we could actually look to push down deeper. We did come into that zone that we were talking about yesterday, and we were talking about basically coming down here in a 5-wave structure. And as we can see, we came down. We actually came through this zone of this 27,874. So, technically speaking, we've actually met the target area. So it is possible that this could actually be completed. But like I said, I'd want to see a break back above this wave 4 here. And for further clarity, if we fail to break back above this, we need to just be careful that we don't have further extension in here. Like I said, potentially this is just wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5, and we get something like this as a contracting diagonal to the downside. This could then look to actually sweep these lows, in which case that bullish potential where we're looking at this possibly as a 1, 2, and then looking for another 1 and a 2, that would invalidate. Now, the key thing here is what we're looking out for within this one is to see whether we actually get a direct sell-off to the downside here, looking for this 1-to-1. Now, what I would be looking for here is basically for this, if this is a completed 5-wave move into these lows, to have a wave 2 retracement. So that rejection area would be between this 28,796 to this 29,461 area. Now, that would be a zone that we'd be looking for a rejection of this as a bigger 5-wave move. If, however, we actually break back towards the upside and we start taking out this zone here of this 29,461, and we see a move up here like this that starts to consolidate above this, it becomes more likely we're going to see a break to the upside from that point. So need to just be aware of that. If we start to break above those zones, it could mean that we're actually going to look to push up higher here, and possibly this move from further back is a W, X, and a Y to the upside. So we'll discuss that in a second. Now, this is what I'm looking out for in the shorter term. As long as we fail to actually break this wave 4, and I'm just going to throw this fib area on here. So we've already come up to this 50%. So the key zone here, I think, is going to be this 28,421. We start to break back above that, it becomes more likely that we're going to see this move continue to the upside. Then we'll have to watch this area here for a potential rejection. So this is looking for that direct sell-off to the downside here. Now, it is always possible we could be extending out, and possibly within here we have a 1, 2, another 1, 2, and then we start to break down in a deeper way here. But really, for something like that to occur, what we'd want to see is actually a move down past this 26,982, and then that would mean that we're starting to get some extension within these waves. And then we'd be looking for the possibility that this is another 1, 2 here, 3, 4, and 5, and then we'd have that possibility of another fourth and a fifth, which could look to bring us down towards that lower range. Now, if we do break down directly here, we'd have to be careful that we don't have, this is a wave one here, this is a two. Now we're starting to form a bigger third wave to the downside once again. That would only really be confirmed by a deeper structure here. It's not my primary way of counting this, but what we'd be looking for is a move below this 26,095 if that is the case. So that's something just to keep an eye out for as long as we fail to break back above this fourth wave. We need to be careful of that extension to the downside. Okay, so the other way that we're discussing this is also still valid. There is still the potential that this is a bigger triangle here, where we have a bigger D wave to the downside here. So it is this one, where this is actually just a bigger D wave to the downside because like I said, it's a little bit choppy in this last bit here. So we could be either forming this as A, B, and C to the downside, in which case we could see a little bit more downside coming here in the sense of one more low. However, for invalidation of this triangle, we cannot cross this 27,235. If we cross that, it would be crossing the B wave low here, and then potentially, that would invalidate the structure. So we were looking for this higher range of the 0.618. We've actually come through that. So we just need to keep an eye on this. If we do just get another three-wave structure to the upside, what we could find is that actually this is from further back here, A, B, C, D, and then E. Now, given the current size of this, that 0.618 of the E wave would actually come here towards this 29,145 to this 29,071. It is also possible that what we could see here rather is that we have this 0.618 relationship, and this would then potentially look to bring us a little bit higher here towards this 29,366. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on moves to the upside. If it's just in a three-wave move, it could indicate that we're either getting a wave two here, and we're going to look to break down deeper, or this could be an E wave and we'll still look to break down deeper. The only way that we can look at this as looking to break up higher would be in two ways. So really, as long as we stay below this zone of this 29,461, I'm going to be looking for continuation to the downside here. But yeah, we need to be careful because these things can move fast, and we could look to actually complete an E wave here, or alternatively, this could be a flat correction, in which case we could start to see, some impulsive structure developing to the upside. So we just need to be aware of that fact. Now, if we're going to look to break up, how could this play out? So there's two ways that I'm looking at it. And basically, one of them would be looking at it in this manner. I'm actually just going to turn the triangle off now. Now, this would be implying the fact that we've had a flat correction here, where this has been A, B, and C. This would be looking for that direct push to the upside. Now, the problem I have with it is the internal structure of this. We can potentially count this 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 into these highs here. The problem is the internals are not great. So it just worries me a little bit because it would be implying that we've had, an extension on the fifth as well. So because of this, I'm not as confident in the move. But technically speaking, we have held the support zone here that we were talking about yesterday, where we're looking for this B wave to come down, and we're looking for this potential of coming down to a maximum of the 0.786, which is sitting at this 27,782. So now what I want to see is if we do start to reverse up in a bigger way. So the first thing I'll be looking for is whether we achieve a 1-to-1 to the upside, which would be towards this 31,000. Actually, that would be a little bit lower now. So that 1-to-1 would actually be here towards this 30,371. So this would also give us a lot of confidence with coming back into these highs here. So we'd have to keep an eye on that. If we do start to develop a bigger five-wave move to the upside, however, 32,168 is our potential target. So if we start to form a bigger 5-wave move here to the upside, which looks to bring us up towards this zone of this 32,168. What I'd then be looking for is an additional fourth and a fifth, and then this could potentially look to push us up past this zone of this 32,478 area, which would then tie into the idea of having this as a 1 and a 2. All of this would then become a wave 3 here, and then we'd get a fourth and a fifth to the upside. So this is what we need to be aware of here. There is still potential to break to the upside, but I'm not 100% confident in this structure here. So we'll have to just see how exactly that plays out. So there is still potential to come up higher here. Now, the other way that I was also talking about this, which is still a possible alternative, is that we could have this move to the upside like this, where this is actually a W here. We have an X and we're looking for this as an ABC. So pretty much the same idea as what I was just talking about. Now, if this is the case, the one-to-one of this Y wave would actually be here at this 30,141, and the one-to-one of this C wave would actually be here once again at this 30,359. So this is going to be giving us a little bit of a target area that we could actually look to target out if we do move back up here. Basically coming back into these ranges here and looking to test some of these key areas. Once again, I'm going to just throw this typical B wave retracement on this zone. And what we could then see is, we've got some key areas that line up here. So this 0.786 would actually tie in with this 30,127, which would be towards the lower end of this move. But if I actually add on to this the 0.854, what we can see is that that one-to-one would also be in this zone if we do look to break to the upside here. In a bigger way for this is a WX and a Y. So looking for this as an ABC to complete this Y wave. Now, if it does extend up higher, we could see a move towards this 1236, which would actually challenge these highs here. And then that 1.382 would actually be up here at this 31,331 if it does look to extend up here. Now, if we did come up into these zones, we'd have to be either we'd have to say that this is W, this would be X, and then we're going to get a deeper Y wave here, or we'd have to just say that, potentially the other way of counting this move is just as a three-wave structure down here, and then what we actually have is this is an A, this is a B which overshoots, and then we could still see, a flat correction in this manner. So this is why we're going to have to just be a bit patient here and see exactly how these moves play out. This is still a possibility as well. If we start to develop good structure here to the upside and start to, push to the upside now, what we could actually see is that, this is a B wave low here, and this 27,666 maintains. Now, what I'd want to see for further confirmation that we're starting to actually have a bigger 5-wave move up here would be looking to actually break back above some of these key levels and hitting this 1.618, which would be up here towards this 28,679. What I'd want to see is basically to see this move go like this: 1, 2, 3, get a fourth and a fifth, and then look to actually find support above these lows again. If we do that, what we could then see is, that continuation up. What I'm cautious of here is just a three-wave structure, which takes us up towards the zone of this 28,368, in which case this could then mean that we still have some continuation down, and this is going to be wave 1, 2, then we'd be looking for 3, 4, and then a 5 to the downside. So looking at this as a potential diagonal pattern still. Yeah, so we just got to, this move's got to prove itself. If it is looking to break up here, we do have that potential that we could argue that we complete into this low as a flat, and we're looking to push to the upside with a 1 and a 2, but we need to get up high enough. We need to get back above some of these key highs. As long as we fail to break back above this 29,969, we actually can just look to directly extend to the downside, and then basically, until we actually break back above this high as well as this 31,000 area, we have to just be mindful that we have that potential for a bigger sell-off. So just need to be careful of that. That bigger sell-off is not something we really want to see, but it is still, potentially an option. So we need to just be cautious of that fact that if we do start to break down deeper, it could actually be something more sinister, which would be looking at this move as something rather like this, where instead of looking at this as a just an A wave, we look at this as a 1-2. Now this is potentially another 1-2 here. We could actually have even formed another 1-2 here, in which case, this could start to get quite violent to the downside. Now, we'd only get real confirmation of this by having a much deeper break here towards the zone of this 25,586, and then they would be looking for an additional fourth and a fifth. If we do look to push down even deeper, this this is a wave one. The target for that third wave would be here towards this 23,965. So this is going to be a key area if we do break down. If we start hitting these 1.618s, I'd be looking for additional fourths and fifths, which could actually look to bring us down towards this zone of this 23,756 to this 23,000 area, which would tie in with coming back into this channel line. The problem is, if we do have a bigger five wave move like this to the downside, we'd have to be very careful that this doesn't actually just become an A wave. We get a B wave and a C wave. So we're going to have to just, take this one step at a time and then see exactly how these moves play out. But yeah, primarily I want to see if we can get back above this high. If we do, I want to see if we hit this 1618, and then, I want to see if we continue to push to the upside. But really, until we actually take this high, we need to be cautious of those bearish options where we could actually just see a direct sell-off to the downside. Now that sell-off, that idea of a bigger flat correction here as well is also still in play looking at this move like this. So, we're still talking about this, about the fact that we could look at this as an A, this is all as a B wave to the downside, and then looking for that C wave up as a flat correction. Now, I was looking to actually come down deeper here towards this 1-to-1, which is sitting at this 27,136. So if we do continue to break down here and potentially form something like this as a diagonal, what we could see is we could take this A wave low here, and then what this could set us up for is this flat idea. It is possible that we could have actually completed short and we could be looking to push up for that C wave now. But yeah, what I want to see is whether we actually, these target areas are pretty much all the same to the upside here. We could be looking at this as an ABC. That 1-to-1 is at this 30,838. So that's what I'd be looking out for. If this is A, B, and then C, we could, let's see, a move up into this zone here. 31,035 would be a 1.236. Yeah, 1.382 rather of this move to the upside here. So we're going to have to see how exactly these things play out. But there are still options both to the upside and downside here. What I want to see is if this is going to be taking place as a flat, I'd ideally want to see one more drop. So if we drop down, take this A wave low, then look to reverse up in a five-wave move, I would be on the lookout for this potential rejection here. So even if we start to form a bigger five-wave move from this point, I'm still going to be cautious around this zone just because of the fact that we have that possibility where these are just corrective structures up here, and we're still looking for that potential of that C wave to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, you'll find affiliate links for both Primax BT and BYBIT down there. Both great exchanges we use on a regular basis. If you don't have an account, using the affiliate link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.